Hi, I'm Marina Sirtis, and you're going boldly with Beyond Trek podcast.
This is Beyond Trek Podcast, your source for Star Trek on social media and around the web. I'm Big J.
I'm Watney.
And I'm Dag, the Trivia Master. You can find us on Facebook at Beyond Trek Podcast and on Twitter at Beyond Trek Pod.
Red alert.
How are you guys holding up with this whole, we're still under quarantine, COVID-19, and we've got our masks. I know I'm trying to be safe, and so is Watney. Dag, a little worried about you.
Nothing gets to the beard, Big J.
Nothing gets through the beard. Well, here's what
Natural filter.
It is. It's a filter.
You know, this is the 8th week of the shelter in place for me, and I got a week head start from my business. So we're doing okay. Me and my partner, and I mean, you guys know Lade.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, we've been lucky so far. This I started this job 6 years ago, and I commuted almost every week for 6 years. So literally, this is the longest time I have been home every night for 6 years.
Wow, that's something. And then here I am wondering, how am I going to drink my prune juice through this thing? I might have to take it off. No one cared who I was until I put on the mask.
I don't know what I'm gonna do with my drink either.
But... Okay, I'm starting to get hot. I'm taking this thing off.
I know, it's like uncomfortable.
I mean, how would you do this like all day? I mean, that was...
Yeah,
when lives are on the line.
A healthcare worker right now, and the true, real heroes.
Watney, I liked yours. Where'd you get your mask? That was nice.
I ordered it on Amazon before it even left China. Because that's the kind of person I am.
Did you scrub it down real good? Now, see, I wanted to get a the mask that Bane wears in the Dark Knight Rises. I told my wife I was going to get that for when I go to the grocery store. She said no.
I actually double up when I go out. I have a surgical mask, and then I have the cloth mask over it.
Okay.
Because I'm not sure how much that helps. Probably negligible amount, but yeah. And then I have hand sanitizer, and I'm literally just holding the cart in the grocery store. I'm not touching anything unless I'm taking it with me.
Yep.
Right.
I like stand 6 feet apart from other people. Like my grocery stores, and I'm sure this is super common, but like when you're going down the aisles, they made them one way.
Okay, I heard that.
So like you have to go like weave back and forth.
Yeah.
Wow.
To get to what you want. So I have something I like. Look, there's an aisle on my left, and I see it's right there. I have to go all the way down the aisle in front of me, and then go back around to get it. And of course, I'm a rule follower, so I'm doing that, and like
nobody else
is doing it, and I'm like,
boy.
You should be yelled at.
Right? Yeah. Well,
I'm following the rules.
I'm getting a little stir crazy myself. I think a little bit. Working from home is good. Been watching some Star Trek, and that's what we're going to do here today. So we're doing another character for the Star Trek Picard.
This is our character retrospective of Agnes Jurati.
Oh, we're doing Agnes Jurati.
Characters assassination.
Right. Jurati.
Yes.
Where do we even start with that lunatic?
So for those of you who are new to Beyond Trek, thanks for joining us. You have entered us in our retrospective phase where we're going through each of the characters to really figure out what their arcs were. And we're starting with Agnes Jurati, who played a very pivotal role in determining the fate of things in the show. And
now we did Picard last week. Yeah, we started with Jean-Luc Picard. Now we've got Agnes. Is there a second one? Yep. Okay.
So Agnes is a big fan of Isaac Asimov, the writer who came up with the positronic brain. Coincidentally, her and Picard share that in common, and when we first come across Agnes, she is very capable, but probably full of regret that her department was shut down and she lost her lover,
There's-
Maddox.
yeah, Bruce
Maddox.
Maddox.
Bruce Maddox. I keep saying Maddox, like from Fenrir. But it's Bruce Maddox. Yeah. And she seems like, okay, I got to talk to Picard. Cool. I'm kind of a fan. And then he goes on his way. And then she meets Commodore O and gets mind fucked, basically.
Yeah, I mean, and that scene with O, the entire audience knows what's up. Like, she's just been inducted into service for undercover purposes.
I think she was kind of indoctrinated. Like,
she was, and I think she was easily malleable for the cause. Kind of a
she has a very good
you don't
heart.
know any better, so right, you've got a good heart. You don't know any better, so we're going to give you some information that is going to scare the shit out of you and want you to kill somebody for us. But yeah, to back up just a little bit, the whole relationship between her and Bruce Maddox, they met during doing this research. They had the body of B4, who was the Soong type android that predated Data. And if you guys recall, during the events of the movie Star Trek Nemesis, Data copied his entire profile, his save file to B4. And in the years ensuing, there was a lot of research done on B4. They were able to, before B4 pretty much had the biggest blue screen of death, cascade failure, they were able to cultivate neurons from the body, which essentially was the essence of Data. And that kickstarted their research. It was this theory that Bruce Maddox had about it was positronic. Wait a minute, positron neuronic fractal neuronic cloning. Yep. Now this is the part that was kind of made me a little bit uncomfortable with their whole tryst, and I could be wrong, could be totally wrong, but she seems a little young for that guy. She just
For Maddox.
Yeah, and I don't know, just everything that Jurati did. I don't know if cringy is the right word, but she just seemed off the whole time. Like, you're
She
too
was
naive.
our tropey, unworldly, super devoted cyberneticist. She even said to Commodore O, she'd never been to space. And I'm like, you live with spaceships and you've never been to space. What's your problem? But, to each their own.
Not only are you going there, but also the lives of the universe are on your shoulder.
Pretty much.
Have fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here, let me traumatize you. Now go into space and stop this Bob guy from making a phone call.
Oh, right. Yeah. And well, so she gets to meet Picard, and she gets pretty quickly pulled into this whole thing. And Commodore O, as you know, is part of the Zhat Vash. She infiltrated Starfleet several years ago, and knows that Picard has gotten wind of this synth program, and he's going on a quest to find the twin. So Daj and Soji were twin synth created by Bruce Maddox. Daj was destroyed by Romulan hit squad, and so Picard discovers that there is another one. So then begins this quest, and Jurati gets pulled into it. Now, the thing that sort of I know that she had to be in on this, but giving Jurati that information, I mean, taking advantage of I guess her naive nature, showing her that okay, the research that you're a part of is going to be the end of everything. To me, that seemed like a little bit of a gamble that would turn her into someone that would go on to eventually smother her lover to death. It seemed like a reach to me a little.
You know, for an indoctrination that killed, 3/4 of the inductees on the planet of sorrow where the admonition is, Jurati took it like a champ.
She sure did. Everyone else is bashing their heads.
Everybody else is shooting themselves or clawing their faces or bashing their heads in or whatever. Even Ramda went nuts.
Yes.
Jurati was like, huh, okay, yeah, that's terrifying. Don't do that anymore.
Wow, we should do something about this.
And she was visibly, traumatized, of course, and she's driven by that vision to pursue the ends that she commits. Maddox, and then ultimately dosing herself with a toxin that disables the tracking device that she's outfitted with. So, I mean,
she did eventually have a
she's
conscious.
not very committed to the mission. I mean, shit. She's really not oh, suddenly I like these people. Oh, fuck the fate of the universe.
yeah,
nothing changed, really.
No, but I mean,
I guess you learn some things, but she kills Maddox, and
then 3.5 minutes later, she's porking the
she's
pilot of the ship.
sorry guys, I'm actually on your side.
Yeah. I'm gonna hook up with the.
To be fair, I think the admonition, both in the channel it's given and the content within it, those two specific combinations can overwhelm the people absorbing it. I don't think that Commodore O gave her the full brunt of the admonition. I don't think
You're
Commodore
probably right.
O could.
I could accept that.
I think that Jurati got the
crib notes, the highlights,
the cliff notes, the crib notes. Yeah, the crib notes, the cliff notes.
Hey, here's the TLDR for you.
Because Commodore O knows that she needs this person to go enact this, and she can't do it if she's comatose on the floor, brain
yeah, that makes sense.
Put a rock to her forehead.
Yeah, so it's not necessarily that Jurati has the will of Narissa, but it's that Jurati didn't get the full thing. And honestly, none of them did, as we come to learn. So, yeah, I mean, I don't necessarily think... I think that Jurati suffers from the same issues that all of the characters deal with, which is you can't really imagine them going about day to day.
How so? What do you mean?
They don't feel full. They don't feel three-dimensional to me.
Mm-hmm.
And Jurati's no different. Rafi might and Picard are probably the only two who I can really imagine, other than Rios.
Jurati came off as kind of that uncomfortable, awkward, the Star Trek Picard version of Tilly,
right?
From
that's okay.
Discovery. I'm not saying that that's a bad thing. That just was the impression that I got, kind of.
Right. Not everyone's Michael Burnham.
True. Right. Not everyone's starting the wars with Klingons.
Not everyone is the ultimately capable badass who fights a Klingon and during a spacewalk and wins after not meeting one forever. Jurati can't do that.
Well, no.
And it's hard because I don't want to compare her, because in her own way as a character, she is valid. She suffered something horrible. Was she indoctrinated? I don't know. I think she was. I think she was under the influence of what she saw, and that's why she killed him.
I think she felt compelled that she had to do something about it.
Yeah. Did she brutally stab him? Did she smother him? No. Did she shoot him in the head?
No, but
she let him die.
She turned off his life support. He it wasn't a quick and
Wait, did she do that, or was he already dying?
No,
he needed the life support. And
Right.
Oh, so she did unplug him.
Yeah, she unplugged him and just
Okay,
it took him like freaking a minute and a half, 2 minutes to die, and she's just standing, oh my god, I can't believe he saw what I saw.
Meanwhile, those worthless holograms are doing nothing.
Absolutely nothing. Yeah, the holograms just. What happened to the holograms? She just turned it off. The hologram
missed the boat.
That's the writer thing. Is like the people who wrote this put the cool things in, and they never use them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, there's an emergency medical hologram. It's not a Mark I. It's not like it can come on when something is happening. But actually, I don't think Mark I's do that. I think you have to summon them.
You do.
Tripping on a tangent. It might be time for the writers to reconsider how smart their audiences are. It's not the 1960s anymore. You can't just, gloss over a minor continuity error in Columbo or Star Trek, the original series, or Lost in Space. Now you're talking about a dedicated medical hologram who, for no other explanation, just ceases during a medical emergency. Like, Bob Picardo must have been like, no, that's not how I work.
Right. Well, yeah, she turned him off, just, the hologram off. And here's the thing. So he didn't report the whole thing at all.
Not until it was, blatantly obvious that something already happened, and he pops up. It's like, oh yeah, she turned off the light support. Like, dude, where were you 3 episodes ago?
It's just that's not used. Like, it's not about how smart the audience is. It's about how smart the writers are.
Well, that's what I think I'm trying to tick on. That is the writers are smart, but sometimes they write themselves into creative spots where
I'm not picking that up. I'm not picking up what you're putting down. I'm not biting. I'm not. I am not copying to that.
I think the writers were lazy. That's what I think. That's what I was trying to say there. Is the writers smart or not? They were lazy, and they didn't take into account the intelligence and the cleverness of their audience. Like the 3 of us, we're regular Star Trek fans.
Or they're bad writers.
Yeah.
Well,
they might not be lazy. They might not be stupid.
And they're not.
They might be bad. They might be bad writers.
Are you talking about getting themselves into a situation where they've got this cool thing, this cool technology, the hologram, and suddenly, okay, well, wait a minute, this hologram can't be a witness to this crime. We have to kind of gloss right over that.
Yes, they do. And they don't ever address it is the problem.
Yep.
There's never like any reason given for that kind of stuff in Picard. She deactivates the hologram. He doesn't come back online for whatever reason. All these other holograms can just appear. The navigation, like whatever. They never explain why the hologram couldn't come back online to like turn her in, basically.
Right.
We just need a throwaway scene.
It's because it let them continue the story. By not doing that, it let them continue the story how they wanted. And that's very frustrating to watch, because you as the audience are saying, but that's not how holograms work. That's not how this technology should be used and should work in the universe and can work.
And
yeah,
I was just saying, and Jurati's a cyberneticist. She would know this. And there could have been a follow-up scene in the next episode where she's like tapping into a computer display that says, oh, we lost Jay. Jay's just like, I'm out. We're done.
Oh, just tell me. That's fine.
Jay's like, I hate this. I'm never doing this again. For those of you who are on audio, Jay's just like, he's our super fan. Watney and I are more critical. And I think we just lost
the most critical. Dag is
just lost a host. We just lost a host.
He's back.
Our host is gone. He's back.
I see your pajamas.
He's back. All right.
Okay. Oh, now you saw no pajamas.
We didn't lose a host after all. I totally thought that we had lost Jay as part of BTP, and
I thought we finally pushed you.
We
finally pushed you to the edge, and you were like, "I'm done."
But the point
I'm not listening to this, and then Watney outed me for wearing pajama pants. And...
Look, I didn't out you. You outed yourself.
Going back to
Yeah,
the
no.
Jurati
Kids want
hologram
me.
thing, she's a cyberneticist. She would know this. And in the next episode, all we would need is her as a display that says emergency medical hologram and her going, we'll just delete these engrams and poof, done. That's it. Half a second of a little bit of film. It doesn't even need to be her in the frame. It could be somebody else's hands. It could be my hands.
That requires Jurati
Yes.
to be more sinister.
Oh yeah, that would be a level of sinister that I don't believe.
I
she
don't
was-
think
But
that the writers wanted her to go there.
But it would
Right.
explain why the EMH didn't just immediately show up at Rios's door and be like, she's killing that guy.
Right, right.
Yes, it would
like,
explain
You
it.
gotta
and
check
it
your
would
hoe. She's killing this dude.
and it would if Jurati in the moment had turned around as Maddox was dying and done that to the hologram. I could see it. I could see it, and
Or-
the story continues, and it's fine.
Right,
If
yeah.
she
I
goes
would be
back
right there.
after she kills somebody and deletes evidence, that's a lot more sinister than the Jurati that we have to accept through the rest of the story.
But we already had to accept that she was willing to turn life support off on a man that we visually see she lived with and loved.
Yeah, that's the so in my mind, I think she was indoctrinated. But and that's also a Mass Effect term
Hmm.
for what happens to you when you are around and in close proximity to Reapers for long periods of time. They will end up controlling your mind if you're an organic in Mass Effect.
Now I have
So I
words.
use that-
Oh, sorry.
I use that similarly here because I think it's kind of sort of what happened. She got indoctrinated when she saw the admonition, and until that mission was completed, that was like the one thing she had to do.
Yeah.
She was fighting with herself the whole time that they were on that they were like killing
The
the
casino
Jazel.
planet. Yeah.
She was like totally nervous and freaking out.
Freehold?
Free Cloud.
Free
Free
cloud.
Cloud. Yeah, there
Yeah.
you go.
So she was very, very nervous during that, like those few episodes in that episode. And she was like, I don't know if I can do this.
She wanted to
And
go
it
home.
wasn't her talking about the transporter that she was going to have to use. It was her talking about murdering somebody.
Mhm.
So I think she was like the cognitive dissonance there was very extreme. And I
Yeah.
think that the nature of the admonition and what Commodore O did to her could only be resolved once she did that
Hmm.
to Maddox. What were you
Makes
going to say,
sense to me.
Jay?
What I was going to say is, okay, this is the part that probably bothered me the most about Jurati is not moments after she gets done standing there and watching Maddox suffocating and dying. She didn't even make it quick. It was she just, I'm going to unplug your respirator and watch you die, and I'm going to cry about it. 2.5 minutes later, she's flirting with Rios, and just the whole attraction there and hookup. It just that bothered me.
Did they actually hook up?
Yeah, I think it was heavily implied.
I think
believe
it's
so.
heavily implied.
I think it happened.
Okay.
Well,
In
just
that
the fact
case-
that, and it didn't even have to go that far for me to have a problem with it. The problem I have is the fact that it even went anywhere onto the playing field. Whether he got to second base, third base, home run, whatever, it's the fact that this whole thing was happening. Like, you literally just killed this guy, and now you're going to go get hotsy-pantsy with this other dude?
Uh-huh.
It's just,
Yeah.
I mean, what kind of psychopath?
I would like to say that I think female characters can and should be dislikable. I think that you don't have to like every female character that you see on screen.
That didn't
and
help me
that it-
dislike her.
But you said that was your biggest problem with her.
Well, I mean, it was a problem, yes, but I mean, it's not like I needed that to be what had me. I didn't need that to dislike her. It
That's
didn't
fair.
have to be that. There were other things. I get that she was, had this guilt trip, had this whole thing, whatever it was. As a viewer, did I need to see her, one, kill this guy, let him suffer? Did I need to see that? One. Two, did I have to then see her just about immediately go try to shack up with the pilot of the ship, with Rios. I did not need to have both of those happen for me to say that this is, if their intent was for us to not like that character, that's what it was. They had me sold when she pulled the guy's life support.
Yeah, we were committed when she showed up at the mansion, and she's like, "Hey guys, hey guys, what's he doing?
What's this?
I thought this was on stun.
I've never held one of these.
Was this set to stun?
Oh my
No,
goodness.
Romulan weapons don't have a stun setting. Oh, well, can I go with you in space? Okay, yeah, we're super suspicious of you after talking to Commodore Shades.
I was suspicious. What was she dislikable there?
No, not dislikable.
I don't think so.
Shady.
I think we were suspicious.
Yeah, no.
To me, Jurati was never like super saturated and palatable. I don't know if she was designed to be tropey or not. I don't think she really was in my head. I don't think she was tropey. She wasn't you couldn't categorize her. You couldn't say, oh, she's a good person, a bad person, and that's okay, because women are dynamic.
Well, but
Female
Raffi was
characters
right.
can be dynamic.
They can.
You know?
Yeah, but
She has
Raffi was right.
agency.
She's like, who the hell is this, and why is she not being questioned and checked before she comes on? Just
Picard trusted her, and that was that, and maybe he shouldn't have.
Well, and the audience is supposed to be like, okay, Picard trusts her. It's cool. I got it.
She's kind of like the Merry and Pippin of Picard. Like...
Well, we've had one murder. What about second murder?
In the old crypts in the Mines of Moria, they like knock over the skeleton and like it falls loudly down the well that goes stories and stories deep, and then it wakes up this demon, which ends up in somebody else dying. Not only that, but they also they do that consistently throughout Lord of the Rings. That set of characters is that is their purpose in the story.
Yeah, Merry and Pippin.
And I think, and I think that, that's why Gandalf just grabbed him by the ears. What are you doing? What the hell are you doing? And I just kind of wanted to do that to Jurati in some instances, because she was like the person who murdered Maddox. She was a person who got in trouble with Commodore O. She got in bed with her, basically, and got mind melded with. And then, she kind of sort of redeems herself. And I mean, once you've murdered someone, it's hard to really get the idea of that in your head, that you can be redeemed. And I'm sure she feels
I wouldn't.
that
I've
too.
never killed anyone.
Well, that's very good, Big J. Me either. But she is kind of like she's kind of like the out of her element trouble finder. She is that person.
Well, to Merry and Pippin's credit, they did set off a chain of events that helped Gandalf become Gandalf the White. And you mean
they helped one party member take all the XP for the fight?
Yes.
Yeah,
I was in the group. I got the same grade.
Shadowfax.
So welcome to our Lord of the Rings podcast.
I know, what the hell happened?
I've got Laddie over here going, hello, what? All right, so welcome back to our Star Trek. This is Beyond Trek podcast. We're talking about Star Trek Picard.
Most people have seen Lord of the Rings and know who the fuck Merry and Pippin are.
No, you're right. You're right.
I use that.
And I agree. I think for a small part, she was there to trigger certain events that led the characters to that climax. Killing Maddox led them to, ending up on Nepenthe, and then heading towards that planet, I don't remember the name of it, without any real information about what they were in for. If Maddox had lived 5 more minutes, if Picard had stood there and talked to him for 5 more minutes, we'd know what we were going into. But the audience went in just as blind as these characters did. And that is Jurati's, that's the big contribution to the plot that Jurati had there, was spinning it from let's find Maddox and figure out what's going on to, all right, well, we still have to figure out what's going on.
Right, but we're in a worse spot than we were before, and we're just
right,
lost.
We lost Hugh. Eleanor's about to get assimilated, maybe. Who knows?
Mhm.
Seven queens up.
Yeah.
She's like that last checker in Checkers, and she's like, queen me. Or is it
Yeah.
king me? I haven't played
It is
Checkers in a
King
long
Me.
time. Well, I'm gonna play Borg Checkers, but it's queen me.
Yes.
Well, in the mirror universe, there are Borg kings. So,
Oh.
That is true. And they sell burgers at Burger King.
All right, I'll drink to that.
I'm uninstalling my microphone and headset.
You gonna
Don't let
return
me
it?
spit. This ring cost $3,000. I haven't had a spit laugh yet.
I actually did that at my last job.
Oof.
It was during happy hour, and the guy said something about. I can't even remember what he was saying, but he said something so funny. I was like in the middle of swinging a beer, and it just was.
Oh.
And he was like, "Bam, got her."
Whoops. So here's a question I'd like to pose.
Okay.
Based solely on what we saw on the show, not trying to factor in any out of show considerations or trying to stretch your logic for canon or anything like that. Based solely on what we saw on the show, was Jurati's redemption arc compelling? Jay.
Okay. I think that her redemption arc was compelling, and here's why I say that. And yes, we harp on her about what she did with Maddox. However, it wasn't cold-blooded murder, not in my opinion. I think that she literally saw that she witnessed the end of billions of lives, possibly the entire galaxy. So that is weighing on her. You're thinking about, okay, I've seen this happen, and this is happening if it's tangible, it's palpable, whatever that word is. This person right in front of me is helping to contribute to a science that will produce a thing that can mean the end of everything. So, and none of us can relate to that. I mean, I can't relate to getting that kind of information or seeing that this person here to my right that I've known for X amount of time that I care about could be the person who is responsible for the end of everything. So what am I going to do with that information? Am I going to tell them what I saw and say, listen, you need to stop this project now and save these lives? Or am I just going to be like, I got to kill you? Okay. You know, the decision there, I don't know. For me, I think first I would have at least, okay, here's what I saw, and here's what we need to do. We need to not do the thing we're doing. But okay, she decided that killing the guy was what she needed to do. But she made it right. And in her mind, she's thoroughly convinced that this was what she had to do to save lives. So I kind of, it's difficult for me to do, but I think I have to say that she did it with, she had the right idea. It's just the execution was poor. I don't think that it should have gone where it went. Did she have to kill the guy? I don't think so. And even if she did it have to be the way that she did it? So, yeah, you know, I will grudgingly say that I think that there was some redemption in that arc, but you know, I'll say that under protest.
Okay. Watney.
Compelling. Evoking interest, attention, or admiration in a powerfully irresistible way. No.
It's exactly what I'd expect from a robot. No, tell me. Go on, please. Go more. I'm so interested in your viewpoints because I feel like I'm in the middle. I'm the one who's like a fan, but also a storyteller.
Well, it's not. I can't say X or Y wasn't compelling. Like compelling is such a varied word. I guess.
To
is what I'm
you
trying
though,
say.
to you though, do you think that she redeemed herself?
So I think that she was operating under, like, originally, I think she was operating under control. Like, she's
Okay.
under control. And so I don't feel like she has to redeem herself. I'm sure she feels immense guilt. But it's, in my opinion, it wasn't her, like, full state of mind,
Okay.
And was she in her right mind when that happened? She was, unfortunately, kind of a victim of Commodore O. And she was coerced into doing that. And so, is her story compelling? I think, regardless of how some people perceive her as annoying, naive, I think her entire story is compelling.
Okay.
I think she's one of the more interesting characters. I think she has a very bright personality in the darkness of space and the rest of the characters. Rafi and Rios, they're all fighting with their demons, and Jurati's just, what the fuck is going on all the time.
Mhm.
Kind of like fucking Elnor. That's his name. Kind of like Elnor. They're both like
Mhm.
little bright babies, like, and she unfortunately was a party to something horrible. I don't think it was her fault, because I believe that the admonition, like, coerced her into doing it, and Commodore O did. And so I don't think she needs to necessarily be redeemed, full stop. I do think she thinks she needs to be redeemed for it.
Okay,
That's a good discrepancy.
So you're saying that there doesn't need to be a redemption because of what she did was based on coercion, being given false information or
Emotional manipulation.
Right.
And it's funny when
like Kylo Ren.
Yes, like Kylo Ren. I was about to say like Anakin Skywalker.
Welcome to our Star Wars podcast.
Like Anakin, like Darth Vader, Anakin Skywalker.
He was,
and Lore again staring at me like, what is going on over there?
Yeah, what the hell's happening tonight?
This is a pop culture podcast.
It is.
Okay? But we like to talk about things outside of Star Trek and Trek.
We're beyond Trek.
Ooh.
We're definitely self-aware about what we're doing. But
we go beyond Trek into Lord of the Rings and Star Wars.
It's like
Anakin was coerced. I mean, the Emperor told him he could do a bunch of shit that when it came time to pay up, it's like, well, actually, I don't know how to do that, but I know someone who does.
But it's really easy to kill kids.
I think, I think it's just another instance where, people say Hitler was a monster.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. No, Hitler was a human. And people like to remove Hitler and call him a monster because they're unbelievably disgusted at the things that he did. Rightfully so. But he was a human just like I am, just like you are, Dag, and you, Big J, and you listening. And it's important that we understand that everyone is capable of very, very awful things. And that is why we have to be conscious about our actions all the time and what we're doing. And yeah, we're going to fuck up. Maybe not to the extent of Hitler. Hopefully not. Maybe not to the extent of Anakin Skywalker.
We don't...
Hopefully not. But we all are capable of both ends of the spectrum. And I think that forgiveness is not deserved hardly ever, but it is necessary and it is needed. And do I think that Jurati got there? I think she did.
Okay.
I
really like the distinction that you pointed out there, that objectively, does Jurati deserve a redemption? or does
Does
she even
a
need
redemption?
does she even need redemption? I think I tend to agree with that. Under the persuasion of that kind of mind meld and that kind of emotional manipulation, she did what she thought was the best thing to do. And for the rest of the series, she carried that with her, and she decided she needed redemption. But if it were today in a court of law, we would just consider that,
Were you
probably
temporarily insane?
something
you
along
under
those lines,
psychosis?
right? Something along those lines.
I think I'm the same
And
with that
I
too.
do like that idea.
Well, but it was
I-
premeditated, so that's tough.
But she was being coerced into doing
Right.
it. It doesn't matter if it's premeditated if you're doing it under somebody else's thumb.
As one great captain once said to one great doctor, "You're under the influence of a Vulcan mind meld." Kirk to McCoy,
Yes,
Star
Kirk
Trek 3.
McCoy. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
You're suffering from a Vulcan mind meld.
Exactly. We know that mind melds
green-blooded
are
bastard.
able to, we know that mind melds are able to transfer. They have incredible side effects for if you're not a
They
Vulcan.
do.
And, Picard breaking down,
Right.
Beverly Crusher comforting
Sarek.
him as he's experiencing Spock's father's
Mhm.
intense emotions that
Oh,
he's
yeah.
expressed his whole life. Some of the best acting I think that's ever come out of Star Trek was in that moment with Patrick
yeah.
Stewart. So that's they're linking minds in that way is such a powerful thing, and I definitely think that like Inception in the movie when they put the idea in someone's head,
Right.
I think that's absolutely what happened with Jurati, and it was more explicit. It wasn't just Inception, she thought of it herself. It was
Right.
straight up, you're gonna do this or these people will die, and I'm an authority figure, and that's what makes it worse is that Commodore O was Starfleet intelligence chief.
Yeah.
Right. So consider it an order.
Yeah, basically. So I don't mind Jurati. I think she did kill someone and then go hook up with somebody else, but Rios is pretty cute. So
Oh yeah, but
I can't say that I wouldn't do that. I can't say I would go
Watney,
kiss
you would
Mr.
kill.
I don't-
You would kill a
after
man. You would
murdering
kill a
I
man
don't
and then
him
go.
in that
Oh,
disagree. I don't disagree that Rios is cute because Santiago Cabrera is hot, but I don't think that completely mitigates what she did in the past. Now, if I look at that and I'm like, that's like a emotional rebound thing. She just did something horrible and she needs to go feel good about herself. Maybe.
It's like the reverse praying mantis.
Okay. Do you guys
You
hear
kill
what you're
somebody and then you get laid instead of getting laid and then
You
killing
get laid,
somebody.
you get laid, then
Do you two
then
hear
Alright.
pull
yourselves?
someone's head off.
So instead of a
Watney's
praying
like, for
mantis,
this,
we have a blasphemy mantis.
yes. Watney's just like, yeah, I would kill a dude and then go hook up with Rios. He's hot. What? I don't like that.
Santiago Cabrera, if you're listening, I love you.
I love you more.
I will
fight Watney to the death. I will make a bazooka out of saltpeter and diamond in a desert land fighting a lizard man.
Obviously, I'm tongue in cheek, Big J.
I
Yeah,
know.
tongue in cheek.
I know.
But he cute though.
If I'm on some kind of medical apparatus and I'm fighting for my life and I see you coming around, someone get her away. No. Watney out.
I only play a doctor
In role-playing.
in role play.
Nurse
Not
Ratchet.
in real life.
I just figured Jay'd be afraid that Watney's going to dunk on him for the next 1,000th time in Rocket League.
You
I'm
had
gonna
to
make
bring
you
that
watch
up.
as I dunk on you.
Oh, that's okay. That's it. You talk
so
all that
here's-
trash.
Here's another question.
All
Disregarding for the moment the gender divide, does Jurati come off to either of you as a strong character? Based on whatever definitions of strength that you have due to the media that you were brought up with and sort of gravitate towards.
For me,
What do you think of her as a strong-willed person with agency in terms of their behavior, actions in Picard? Watney.
Yes, because she did everything she was setting out to do.
Okay, that's brief and to the point. Jay.
I'm gonna have to say no. I'm going to say no because when you describe a strong female character, she does not come to mind. There are others that
But we're disregarding gender stuff, just in
Okay.
terms of strength itself.
Okay.
You don't have to compare her to Ripley, because we
Okay.
all know Ripley's at the top of the food chain
Right.
when it comes to strong characters.
Or Sarah Connor. Okay, right. She's not a Ripley.
Sarah
She's not a Sarah
Connor.
Connor.
But is she a strong character in her own right, disregarding any applications of gender to Jurati itself?
Okay. All right. Well, if you do that and you take that piece away, I would say it's a grudgingly yes.
Okay.
I'm not. I say that again under protest. Sure.
Why is it different
Yeah, I would like to hear this. This sounds
for you? I'm just curious.
deep.
Well, okay. So it's different for me because when you lump her in with any other character, no regard for gender, I just think that doesn't then she doesn't really stack up to either. I mean, she certainly, if you say okay, as a female character, no, because then that's what we were just saying. Then I start thinking Ellen Ripley or Sarah Connor or any number of characters that fit that definition, and I don't see that from her. But now we take that piece out. We take the gender piece out, and just as a person with this character as a strong character, I'm going to say the reason I say that I under protest say yes is just because it bothers me that the first solution, plan A, was I got to kill this guy, instead of coming clean and saying this is what happened, this is what I saw. Who was not going to believe her? That's what I don't understand. Was there a chance that she could tell this? There's already conspiracy happening. You've already got Raffi, who has believed and took herself into alcoholism, believing that there's this whole conspiracy and this plot that's been happening. If anything, that would have justified her right away to hear that, okay, yes, there is something going on here. The entire reason that they're out there is because there's something that's not right, and they're trying to solve this mystery. So Jurati would have been in good company by saying, okay, I was approached by Commodore O. She did a mind meld with me. This is what I saw. It would not have been, she wouldn't have been dismissed, because they're already there based on these crazy things and stuff that's not adding up. So for her to be in that situation and be in an environment where that might have actually answered some questions, she decided, well, no, I'm gonna take what I know and kill this guy and cover it up. So, and the reason she gets the grudge points for the yes is because she was manipulated, coerced. I don't think she made a good decision, but she did at least acknowledge what she did and realizes that was wrong and try to correct it. But you have to take gender away from it, like you did. If you say female character, then it's going to be no, she's nowhere close, because there were so many others justified in everything they did, like the characters we mentioned. So yeah, that's.
So are you saying that females are held to a higher standard?
No, I'm not. I'm not saying a higher standard. It's just that
Females? What am I saying? Are you saying women are held to a higher standard?
No.
Female. Insert like a Ferengi line there.
Right.
Human.
Human.
It's a female.
You know what I think? What I took away from Jay and Watney, and pardon me for interrupting me.
No, go ahead.
But what I took away from that was your perspectives seemed maybe to pivot off of concepts of agency.
Yes.
You know, if you think about Ripley or Dominic Toretto or Sarah Connor, the main characters in the media that we gravitate towards, they have a strong sense of agency. Ripley's never manipulated. She knows the bad guys are the aliens from the start. Sarah Connor, she knows the Terminators are the bad guys from the start. Dominic Toretto, the audience just knows Dominic's the good guy. He might be chaotic neutral, but we follow him because everybody else is the bad guy. Jurati was manipulated at the beginning, and her agency is ambiguous right up until she kills him, and then in the very next episode, she takes that toxin, almost kills herself to get rid of this tracking device, and she does this very selfish thing, which is under duress from the admonition. And then as soon as she, in my opinion, fulfills the terms of whatever compulsion O sent her under, she's now free to make her own decisions. And she's acknowledging that she has a tracking device, and she's acknowledging that she killed Maddox, and she's acknowledging that her very existence on this ship is endangering others. So there's a flip then of her making a choice for the greater good, which is what Ripley would have done. Ripley would have died to save lives. Sarah Connor would have died to save lives. Dominic Toretto, he puts his life on the line a number of times throughout the Fast and the Furious season. And I use him as an example. We could just as well say Groot. She takes, I feel like she takes back her agency with almost a vendetta against the person who manipulated her. And so I would say, I think that there's definitely an argument for both sides. I tilt towards the strength of character there, because when she finally had her own presence of mind, she made a decision for the benefit of others surrounding her, the immediate others, as opposed to the horrors that Commodore O sort of pushed her towards.
She also, on the planet of synths, basically played the part to get where she wanted to go. They said she was able to convince Sutra that she wasn't lying, that she wasn't gonna try and bail anybody out or whatever. Someone said, "Oh yeah, you're their mother." She's like, "I'm not their mother." She defied
with an
that.
expletive.
I'm not their fucking mother. Yeah. Then she goes and grabs a eyeball from
thank you, Simon
Hummingbird
Phoenix,
stabby person, eyeball, whatever her name was, but
Saga
gets that, and she busts out Picard, and then she's basically their whole reason Picard gets back up in space to do what he wanted to do.
Well, and she also played a role in defending Picard from the Romulan warbirds. It's corny, but she's the one who came up with the idea to have the holographic other ships show up just before the Federation fleet showed up.
So while she's not trope strong woman character, Ripley, Wonder Woman, Sarah Connor, she is a strong character.
Okay.
She ends up lending her talents to the success of the protagonists.
I think when you word it like that, and say it like that in regards to when it was time for her to regain her agency, she did it. 100% with a vengeance. Okay, I think I can buy that, and give her some slack for that, because she did step up when it needed to happen. She did recognize that I've been conned, I've been manipulated, I did the wrong thing. So okay, Watney, you made a believer out of me. All right.
She's kind of like a mix of
Mhm.
Hermione Granger and Jess Day from New Girl. If you guys have watched New Girl.
I've only got half of this metaphor down, but I do
Okay.
get the
So
annoying,
Jess Day
all-knowing person.
is the quirky girl. Like
Okay.
she's the quirky character.
Oh, okay.
And then you have Hermione, who's the book smart.
Yes.
I can do what I know how to do.
Mhm.
See, and you say quirky, and I will go ahead and liken that to Penny from Dr. Horrible Sing-Along.
Sure, I haven't seen
Tragic
that,
character.
so I'm saying what I know, and I know Jess from New Girl.
He's dead. Dag.
I've killed Dag. Big J, it's just you and me now.
No, I don't like the odds.
I'm not gonna say she's a mix between Sarah Connor and Jess Day, but I would say Hermione is the book smart
Yes.
person, and she is like so capable and smart and intelligent. But then Jess Day is like, I'm so quirky. Like that's my main personality trait. She's completely that trope.
Okay.
And hilarious show, by the way. Dag, you haven't seen it, but it's a hilarious show. And that's kind of like her. She's like a mix of that in my head.
Okay.
So.
All right. I take
So
that.
she's not a trope to me. Like I think she's like different.
I'm good with this.
Yeah.
It's fine with me.
I'm good with it.
Then you have Space Legolas, who's absolutely a trope.
Which we're going to do next week, right here on Beyond Trek Podcast.
Oh, good. We're going to do Space Legolas. All right.
Space Legolas, Elnor from the planet Vashti. Any final thoughts about Jurati that didn't really fit into the discussion anywhere, Jay?
No, I really think that it all fit. I mean, we saw a good character arc. We started with a naive scientist, had some innocence. I mean, she's trustworthy to a fault. Just like you said, she's a Hermione Granger, book smart kind of person. Unassuming. You don't take her for being a double agent kind of person. And during
she's the perfect double agent.
Well, okay, right. But
I mean, it's why I think Watney is CIA, but whatever.
I know. I don't know. Watney makes it pretty obvious if she's CIA. I mean, I was thinking more KGB because she's just mean.
Oh, comrade.
Comrade Watney.
Comrades, yes. I have nothing further to say.
Watney, any
Jurati.
thoughts on Jurati? Nothing? All right.
No, I mean she's just she's a part of the cast, part of the crew. So
right on.
I feel
Part of
like
the
I said
ship,
everything
part
I
of the
need
crew.
to.
Audience, thank you for being here today.
I want to tell you guys where you can find us online.
Yeah,
totally.
As always, patreon.com. We would love if you could support us there. Patreon.com/beyondtrek. And our most active space online is Twitter. You can find us there at Beyond Trek Pod. And then we also have a Facebook. You can check us out there too. Beyond Trek Productions there.
We're all over the place.
Yeah, we are.
Mostly Twitter though.
Right. Most, you guys are killing it on Twitter. We've had, Dag, haven't we had retweets from some of the stars or posts that were liked and whatnot from the actors out there in Star Trek? I know Jerry Ryan.
People who have watched our episodes, they've seen Aaron Eisenberg and Marina Sirtis give call outs to the show.
Right. And that's
so next week.
Yeah. So who are we doing next week? Are we going to do
next week? on our continuation of the Picard retrospective, we're going to be doing the character assassination review of Elnor, everybody's favorite cuddly space elf.
Okay.
It'll probably be
Right
short
here.
because he had very
Yeah, it may be short.
limited screen time. So,
Yeah, no, he was the shut up Wesley of, oh crap, I'm going to kill myself. Will, don't hate me. But he did get shut up a lot. It was sad. Right
So-
here on Beyond Trek Podcast.
All right, so come back for some Space Legolas. And with that, put my mask back on as I go back outside. Everyone stay safe, social distance. Don't cough on anyone. Here we go. I've got my natural filter on. All right, be safe, everyone.
Mhm. Bye. See you next week.
Hi, I'm Nacho with Beyond Trek Productions. Dr. Agnes Jurati. Honestly, for her, I thought she was going to die off real quick. She kind of seemed like a character that she'll die off in, between up the season. Well, her character in short, I don't think she would be useful in, another season. Because, I remember someone like her in the show I watch. It doesn't relate to Star Trek, but I don't know. She was another scientist, and, the team or whatever you call them needed her for something specific, and then after that season we never heard from her or saw her again. And yeah, I just thought of this character like that. We would just see her this season, and next season we wouldn't see her, or she would at least die off in this season or something. If I saw lots of death and destruction in my head for no reason, or if I know it could happen, I don't think I could live with that, honestly. I don't think anyone could. I'm gonna be honest. I think anyone would do the same. I don't think anyone could handle what she saw. Well, maybe not kill their lover, but I think something close to that, because I wouldn't handle that. Yeah, I don't think she knew how to actually kill him. I think she was just screwing around. I don't know. Okay, well, I would have some common sense to know that wouldn't be the right thing, but honestly, I would get lots of help, because that looked very bad to see. Well, I wouldn't say screwing around, actually. I would just say she was just panicking first. I think she just panicked and was just trying to do it. That is so jabroni. Why would you have a medical system that just goes away whenever? What if an enemy's on the ship and someone's injured? Are they just going to be able to say, deactivate EMH? That makes no sense at all. I probably have to say, honestly, she moves on pretty fast, and she's very cold-hearted because, well, she just moved on and killed her old lover. Okay, if you make it sound like that, that makes her sound like a hoe. But to be fair, it's not that bad. Okay, actually, if you make it that way, it does sound very bad. Yeah, I can't support that. Yeah, I don't get enough facts to support it. That's honestly, yeah. I have nothing more to say, really. But I don't get how the pilot goes for her. When Dr. Jurati deactivated that tracker she had when she was being chased down by that Romulan, honestly, I think she was looking for some redemption, but I think she just wanted an easier way out. I think she knew she could have died. I think she didn't want to live. When she was in recovery, she told Picard she was trying to commit suicide after she saw that vision. So with her jailbreak with Picard, I'll admit I was kind of surprised, because she doesn't seem like someone that's capable of doing anything like that, because, well, to be honest, she's a doctor, and they're usually not that fun or, jailbreaky. About the eyeball, I thought that was a bit much, and kind of gross. If I was in her shoes, I would not touch it. She took that from the synth, and honestly, that's not really helping the redemption part. I would be guilty forever for taking any eye from anything. Well, if it's from a robot with no face, maybe, yeah, sure, but I can't take an eye from anything, even from the dead. That's wrong. So, I think she's definitely a follower. I don't think she could ever really be a leader. But honestly, I think she's maybe not looking for a lost cause, but I think she's, I don't know, I think she probably thinks she doesn't have a purpose anywhere. So I think with Picard, she's gonna find some purpose with him. And in next season, I think she's probably gonna maybe be a little better. Maybe we're gonna focus on her life a little more and her character. Yeah. And again, I'm Nacho with Beyond Trek Productions. You can follow us on Facebook and YouTube.
We are Beyond Trek Podcast. Lower your inhibitions and surrender your years. We will add inspirational and hilarious Trek content to your day. Your attention will adapt to subscribe to us. Resistance is futile.